We are days away from the start of a new era in Raptors basketball, and it's safe to say that the ceiling of these new look Raptors, as things currently stand, rests on the shoulders of Scottie Barnes and Immanuel Quickley. Don't get me wrong, maybe one of their promising young players pop, maybe RJ Barrett continues to make strides in his game. Those things are likely, but only floor-raising qualities, really. To truly break through as a team in the Eastern Conference, the Raptors' top two players need to have major breakthroughs of their own, not just individually, but together. Barnes and Quickley played only 350 minutes together last season after the Pascal Siakam trade, and the Raptors won their minutes in that span. It's easy to see how Scottie, a big, playmaking forward who has grown as a scorer and offensive weapon, could pair with a guard like Quickley, a dynamic off-ball shooter whose gravity can create opportunities for others. But still, their chemistry together needs work naturally. Personally, I can't help but think of another guard-forward duo when I look at the potential these two have together. And I know it sounds crazy to say this, but just bear with me for a second. Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Look, I don't expect Quickley to become an all-time great scoring guard like Curry, but skill set wise, there is some overlap. The movement shooting that helps weaponize both of their gravity away from the ball, how well they work off of handoffs, and how dynamic they can be as on-ball screeners, springing into space off a screen into a catch-and-shoot jump shot. I also don't expect Scottie Barnes to become Draymond Green, although there are some similarities. Both Green and Scottie can operate as de facto point guards in lineups. They are offensive hubs, working from the high post or in the middle of the floor as ball handlers to find opportunities for their teammates with their cerebral passing. Even defensively, there are some similarities, especially with how good they are as small ball fives, but that's for another video. The major difference between Scottie and Draymond, and this benefits the Raptors, is that Scottie is already a much better scorer than Draymond ever was in his career. He's a more sustainable shooter, and he's longer so he can make bigger strides to the basket. Scottie is just a better offensive player, essentially, and for this video, that's important to contextualize. Steph and Draymond have had ample experience on the floor together. They arguably have the best two-man connection of the last decade, and maybe even all time. Steph's otherworldly gravity as a shooter, paired with Draymond's ability to make plays in the middle of the floor, fueled one of the best offenses in NBA history. One of the most dominant teams ever. Even at their age, they still cause headaches for opposing defenses nightly. And it's because it's become second nature to them. Steph will seamlessly pitch the ball to Draymond, run over for a handoff, Dre will screen and then rescreen. Teams are often forced to trap Steph because of his shooting. He dumps it off to Draymond in the middle of the floor, and it's at that point where the Warriors' motion offense begins. There are over 1,000 different variations of this, and if you've been an NBA fan for a while, you've likely seen most of them. Since 2014-2015, Steph and Draymond have played nearly 15,000 minutes together, and their average net rating has been plus 15. They absolutely dominate when they're on the floor together, and it's because of that two-man action is intrinsic to everything the Warriors do. If the Raptors are lucky enough, Scottie and IQ can get to 50% of that, and they're in great shape. And maybe more importantly, it gives Darko Rajakovic a blueprint for the types of actions they can run together. The first is dribble handoffs. Believe it or not, Scottie and IQ only connected on 3 total handoffs in their time together. Nothing really ever came of it, but the volume needs to go up because they're both great handoff threats. Before coming to Toronto, IQ was generating 1.17 point per handoff with the Knicks, an excellent mark that made him one of the best in the league. That fell to 0.77 in Toronto, but that was mainly because of low volume and not shooting well in those moments. Scottie was also excellent in handoffs, generating over 1.1 point per possession, but doing so infrequently compared to the other actions the Raptors involved in. The important thing, though, is stacking the handoff with other actions to have the two really grow their chemistry. Primarily, the pick and roll. With Scottie as the screener and Quickley as the ball handler, the Raptors can make this one of the pillars of their offense. If a team switches, Quickley has the mismatch against a bigger opponent and can either blow by them, use that split second to rise up for a shot, or reject the screen and do the same. But both players need to get better in certain areas. For starters, Quickley needs to shoot more threes. Louis Zatzman wrote a great piece on Raptors Republic's website that is in the description if you want to check it out, but the crux is Quickley needs to become a high volume pull-up shooter. He only took 4 a game in his time in Toronto, and increasing that in these actions is the key to its success. The other aspect is that Scottie needs to become a better screener. Too many times he is giving brush screens or not connecting on screens, and quite frankly, he can be much better in this department. But this is also the give and take of having a more offensive-minded screener, and something the Bucks struggled with Dame and Giannis. Scottie, like Giannis, was looking to score the ball or get the ball to move to the next action, and so often he looked at the initial pick and roll with IQ as the setup to the next thing versus being the thing. Ultimately, this will only develop with time and Scottie learning IQ's tendencies as a player, but when they have connected and connected properly, it looks good. The next action is the inverted pick and roll with Scottie as the ball handler and IQ as the screener. This is a play Raptors fans have become accustomed to with Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, who use that ad nauseum. Much like the other pick and roll actions, Quickley needs to become a more high volume catch and shoot player for this to be truly dynamic, but it is possible and he's capable. As a screener, his gravity can help create a lane for Scottie to barrel into traffic, and if it doesn't, the defense has to concede a switch and allow Scottie to attack a much smaller player. Through the handoffs, the pick and roll, and the inverted pick and roll, this duo can be absolutely deadly offensively. But it's on the Raptors to lean into this as their identity. It helps that even when they're not on the floor at the same time, there are other players they can do these actions with. IQ can use Jakob Poeltl or Kelly Olynyk as a hub, and Scottie can use Grady Dick as a screener and handoff partner as well. But Scottie and IQ have only scratched the surface in their short time together. And if the Raptors truly want to reach that next level eventually, these two need to become symbiotic in how they behave on the floor. They need to understand each other's tendencies, know where each person likes the ball and where they operate best. Truthfully, even when Scottie and IQ develop their chemistry, it'll likely look very different to Steph and Draymond because they are different players with their own quirks. But what makes this great is that there is a blueprint, a formula for the Raptors to try and follow. And with Darko Rajakovic's offense replicating some of the motion-heavy, handoff, and high-post playmaking that the Warriors and even Sacramento Kings run, it's clear that the Raptors themselves know what they have in front of them. It won't happen overnight. It likely will take a couple of seasons, but the faster Scottie and IQ can develop their chemistry together, the quicker the Raptors' ceiling changes. We'll see how it works out. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this one, please check out other Raptors Republic videos on the channel and make sure to subscribe.